Welcome to this week's podcast and video. I'm Chris Lucas, run coach,
I'm Charlotte Milne, run and strength coach.
and we're both from CMF Running. We coach runners and athletes of all abilities to any surface, any distance, 5K up to multi-day ultramarathon, whatever your flavour is. So it's good to be back. We haven't done one of these for a couple of weeks. So this week we're talking about just sort of Tarawera, reflections, I guess.
Yep.
We had great intentions of doing it the week post-race, didn't we?
We did. We're like, we're going to release it, and then it just never happened.
Yeah.
Never got there.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's the thing, like, that's one of the things I guess we're talking about, isn't it? Is, even if you're not racing, like for us as coaches, it's a big weekend.
Totally.
It's a big weekend for us too. That emotional, the emotional come down and just being busy too, eh? Like you're just and tired and.
Yeah, and it's like, as fun as it is, it obviously requires a bit of, energy and thinking and sometimes you just don't want to do. Yeah, hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm feeling lots of energy today. And when you're not, you're just like, can I sleep now?
Yeah.
Can I not, string a sentence together? But yeah, also after after we talk about Tarawera, we're going to talk about what we've been up to. And that's also, we've been traveling a bit down the country, so that kind of stuff is
it's all part of it too. It takes time to moving around.
You can't really record a podcast when you're driving for 2 hours, then setting up again and packing up and all that kind of stuff. So all that's been part of, I suppose, not that we need a reason not to do it, but that is just what we've been up to.
Do it when you feel like it, eh?
Yeah.
First, I just wanted to share this review. So we've had some awesome reviews, Google reviews from some of our crew that smashed out their races at Tarawera, and I just wanted to read this one from Nick. Joined CMF a year ago and have since achieved some fantastic milestones and ran some incredible races. Chris and Charlotte have created a really inclusive running family and community, which has been the biggest bonus on top of the one-on-one coaching. I've met some amazing people and discovered different parts of the country by buying into the CMF ethos and community training events. Chris has coached me and tailored my running schedule around my life responsibilities and given me the appetite to run different distances and try new types of races, which I have really enjoyed. Working with Chris has been an education in itself, and look forward to crushing more goals and running many races under his tutelage in the future. I highly recommend CMF. Thank you, Nick. That's awesome. Nick ran in the 100K. Had a good day. Yeah, thanks very much, Nick. That's kind.
It's great having you part of the crew.
Yeah. If you're interested in talking to us about your running, reach out to us. Have a free coach call on Zoom, and let's just chat about your running and how we roll. And it can be with me, Charlotte, or Kim.
Mm-hmm.
We can help you with that kind of decision as well, and which coach is right for you. Just reach out to us, eh? Even if you've got something big at Tarawera next year, eh? It's not too, if you're like looking at your first 100K or your first miler or something like that, then yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's as much as we're like your coaches, it's also like a relationship, and it's the more that we get to know you, the better we can coach you, really. Sure. And it's a two-way kind of relationship. It's not just a transactional thing of like, here's your thing, here's your coaching. It's like,
here's your plan for the next year.
Yeah. It's
it's good.
We get to know each other both ways,
Totally. And doing lead-in races and go and crack some other PBs along the way, marathons, whatever. Maybe a trail marathon or 50K or
and just like
5K, whatever your flavour is.
Yeah, like Nick said, like meet some amazing people.
Yeah.
And become an amazing person. Anyway.
Cool. So, how was your Tarawera weekend?
My Tarawera weekend was very, very fulfilling. I didn't race this year. I just full on supported, and yeah, the day sort of started with trying to. You're kind of like on hyper alert, anxiety, like the whole excitement, kind of the whole weekend. So I was
the lead into like the week before.
Yeah. So on race day, I was like trying to see clients, but I was like, my eyeballs were like, and I was like just trying to like search frantically for like, sort of clients and I guess fellow runners that I know in the community,
friends and that.
And I'm pretty sure I missed like some runners because I don't know, like you're just kind of like on this kind of like hyper alert. But obviously I did see some, and that was great.
Because you started on the 50k course, didn't you?
Yes.
At Green Lake Aid Station.
Yeah.
Which we might talk about Green Lake Aid Station later on.
Yeah, and I just kind of like floated around there and then just walked back a bit onto the track and sort of stood at a sort of section of it for a while. So like the first sort of 100k runners come in, and then and obviously a mixture of all sorts of 50kers and things like that. And I think I saw even Amy sort of just before the Green Lake Aid Station. But I think I must have missed quite a few of the other clients, like I said as well, because they were all around the same time. There was a few around the same time as Amy, but I only saw Amy. So, but that's all good. It was still fun. And then what else did I do? I think after then I went to the finish line because I hung around there for quite a few hours, really. And then went to the finish line of the 50k and saw I think I saw you first.
Me.
Yeah, I think you were.
I ran in the 50k.
Yes, you were the first person to come through of our group. So that was awesome watching you come in. Yay! And then it was just quite a few of the other 50kers come in, which was also fun and good. And then we kind of like hung out for the rest of the day after you had finished your race.
We spent 2 hours around the finish line, didn't we? Just over 2 hours, just before the finishing shoot, and watching folks come in, watching a lot of our crew come in on the 50k, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. And that weather too. The weather was perfect for the weekend.
Yeah,
which makes it really great.
Yeah, it was really. I think it was really hot actually. Like I had been standing in like the forest around Green Lake, and I was like cold. And plus, I like whenever I'm sort of hyper like anxious or whatever, I think it does something weird to my
drops your core temperature.
Yeah, and so then I went to the finish line and just like was like stripping off.
Yeah,
got to show off our new. I think I was wearing our new
merch. Yeah,
merch. I'll see me if I'm standing there in the sports pride.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Kind of getting a little bit burnt, but it was all good. And we also had Kristen in the 21k. She smashed it. It was so cool to see. First trail race. And she finished really strong. So nice work. And and then we kind of like.
Yeah, then we took off to like Boys Beach, didn't we? Yeah, and that's where we spent most of our race day, really, from there, isn't it? And the nature of the setup of the courses this year, the 100k and the miler courses, is that obviously everyone was going out and back to Okataina, so we set up camp at Boys Beach, and we sort of all the sort of front runner, we had all the milers coming through on their way out, and then we started in sort of late afternoon, early evening, we had all the 100kers like coming back.
Yeah.
All the front runner 100kers were coming through in the afternoon, like mid-afternoon.
Yeah, and like our clients and stuff. Yeah, it was a really good place to sort of sit for 5-6 hours or whatever it ended up being.
It's pretty good. That is the good thing about getting up an out and back like that, isn't it? Like, we didn't have to move. It's good for supporters. The race just goes around.
Yeah.
It just goes out and back. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Especially if you have, like, I suppose, like us, that we had quite a few clients and knew quite a few people.
You want to keep a track of a lot of people.
Yeah. So you just sort of plonk yourself there, and you're either going to see them like go out, like Chris said, or like come back in, because we missed a few of the sort of the 100K people going out, but we got them coming in, and then vice versa for the miler people.
That's our goal, like with events that we're going to support our crew, is to like try and like at least see everyone at least once, and to support them, and which can work out pretty good sometimes, because sometimes it's a good, like, that little bit of support can really help someone, or a little problem to solve or something like that. And so it's quite valuable, like supporting someone on their run,
just like from any races that you've probably done, or I've done, like whenever you see someone that it's just like a booster. It doesn't really matter like what the sort of relationship is, whether it's your a family member or your coach or just a friend. It's like so nice seeing people out there, because they're like a part of, I think, as well.
I think that's one of the things that makes Tarawera so special too, isn't it? Is it's just, it's a big event, and it's a friendly community, and you just see a lot of people that and it's very supportive. And I think the volunteers, we should talk about the volunteers, they really make the event as well, Like the aid stations, they're just amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like these quite often the volunteers aren't runners. They're like, from
just different community groups.
Different community groups, and they're like staying in one place for like 12 hours. I don't know what it is. A long time.
Yeah, they must take shifts, surely.
Yeah. But anyway, a good chunky time. And, fortunately, like an aid station is always busy, right? Like there's always people kind of like coming through. So there's more or less always something to do. So time obviously goes a bit faster. And I think just the experience of watching people do cool shit, like I know this from whenever I've watched like sports I have no interest in. It's still interesting because these people are doing like, they're performing at their top level, whether it's, actually it is like elite level, or if it's just top level for them personally, and I think that sort of must make the day for volunteers like, just a little bit more like purposeful or something.
I know a lot of the volunteer groups that are involved with Tarawera have been manning particular aid stations for many years. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we got to kind of see that. I mean, because I ran the 50K, and it's just super cool, like super helpful, filling my bottles with Coke at Blue Lake. And then I got to Redwoods, and I wasn't feeling I think on my race I kind of underfueled a little bit. And so I was like kind of getting to Redwoods and just a bit like, I don't know, needed like a bit more attention. It wasn't
some love.
Probably stopped for a minute or two there, and the volunteer there was like, oh yeah, sponge, got the icy cold water, and then they're filling my bottles with Coke, and I was like, oh, have you got any gels? And there wasn't any gels, and they're like, oh yeah, we got some here, like that was like really cool.
Yeah.
And then we got to see it with Ricky, because we went to the Redwoods. Ricky was on the miler course, and did about 33 hours, So we were at Redwoods on Sunday morning, cheering him in, and just so cool, like seeing the volunteers there, like clapping, like him in and stuff. Like, still nice. After being there like that long, and they're like standing there, like like cheering them, like a guard of honor as they come in. It's so emotional, like that.
Yeah, that is nice. It's almost making me emotional now, even though I wasn't there. I was at the finish line, waiting eagerly for him to come in with a few other people.
So the milers had a great old time. I mean, when we were at Boys Beach, and we're waiting for our sort of miler runners to come through. We're getting these reports of like absolute carnage at Buried Village. And there seemed to be this like ridiculous heat trap out on the Tarawera Trail. So, in between that Isthmus and Buried Village section, there seemed to be this just ridiculous heat trap going on.
Yeah, it's like
it's like the Bermuda Triangle kind of thing. There's like so many reports of like our crew and the miler, from their support crew, that like messaging us. They're like, so and so is like doing awesome at Roru Whakaitu.
Yeah.
And then it's like at Buried Village, so and so is not doing great. They're having a terrible time. Like, it's just like, what just went wrong in that section?
Yeah, and then we're like further down the track, and then they've like kind of come through it, and they're like seeing this person that's like been through like this hard time, and then they're kind of like looking a little bit. They're looking like they're looking a little bit like that was hard, but physically they look fine. Like mentally they look a little bit jaded, I think. But physically they look like they've haven't been suffering. So they've obviously come right.
That was a very funny thing, and that was one of the things that actually impressed me most about a lot of our folks runs, I guess, and especially the milers. You really saw it with that. A lot of them struggling there, and maybe like a lot of people might not have got their like times that they wanted, and I think there were some reasons for that. Like, the courses were pretty long and not easy, and there was some weather sort of stuff going on. So having to work with like struggles and then overcoming those struggles and then finishing strong, and then actually putting out a good race like that is like far more satisfying actually than any like time kind of thing, where everything just goes perfect in a day. And that's what I really saw a lot of like that weekend was, runners and athletes like overcoming stuff in their races, whether it's like, chronic cramp or stomach issues or just heat, like exhaustion. And we really saw everyone sort of have their own little battles out there, and overcome stuff, and then but finish well. Now I think that's the testament of the training, isn't it, and mental fortitude. And because there was one stage there when we were at Boys Beach, hearing the reports of the the struggles that the miler runners were going through. I'm like going, oh my god, like what is going on?
You just go,
you start questioning yourself as a coach, like going, oh my god, did I not train these? Like, did I not do a good job? You start having these doubts about yourself, like as a coach as well. But everyone came good.
Yeah, like the story probably like about Aaron is like, I think he really struggled, and then he ended up having a 2-hour nap at Buried Village.
He stopped for a while there.
Yeah, he just like had to have he had a 2-hour nap for recovery, and then he like came right from that, and then was and then said that the last 17 Ks were like his fastest 17 Ks of like the whole race, and like was doing like 5:30s or something quite fast, after running 150 odd Ks or whatever it will be. So that's kind of like what Chris is kind of talking
Testament
about
to the training.
Yeah, so it's
100 miles is so funny too, eh? Like
2-hour nap, and you still like do it in the right time.
Was he like 27, 28, something like that?
27 and 28.
It's amazing, yeah.
Was it 2-hour nap? And
it just goes to show.
And plus all the other stoppages that he would have, had as well, So
that's the funny thing about a miler, eh? Like there's just so much time for things to go wrong and so much time for things to go right.
Yeah. It's like working through the problem and then slowing down, and then so later on you can run faster.
Yeah.
Or stronger. Opposed to, well, I suppose if you're completely like stuffed, like Aaron kind of was, unfortunately, like from the heat and
time,
like he had to stop, otherwise he would have DNF'd. So yeah, it's kind of like weighing up those processes, because like obviously when you're stopped, you're moving 0 kilometers an hour. Like that's, it's what it is. But if you're going at very slowly and then you're like, but you actually are struggling, then you're probably going to end up, pulling the pin. So it's like wisdom to know the difference on when to like stop and when to like
address things
and when to like actually no, I can actually keep going. This is wasting time now. So yeah,
it was awesome for Aaron as well because he DNF'd last year, and so yeah, to get a finish this year for him was really great.
And his wife wants him to come back again and see if yes,
yeah,
it's time.
I want you back here, boy, next year.
It was gold.
Yeah. So it's always satisfying. I think worked with Aaron for most of the year, or 9 months, sort of leading into Tarawera, and so to get a good finish, it's very satisfying. Like you look at things that went wrong the previous year, and set those things. Remove like the variables of things that can go wrong, and obviously do the training as well. That's all part of it. So that's very satisfying. Then we had Ricky on his first 100 miler as well, and that was a big journey for him, eh? Like just like as well, like being part of his like training for like a year or more, I guess, and pretty cool. He'd done like a couple of 100Ks and over the years, and a bunch of 50s, and a bunch of long stuff, and so well prepared like for that day, and he had to overcome a lot of cramp. He had a lot of cramp, so I had to walk large portions of the course actually, in the heat. But yeah, it came good as well. So yeah, all very satisfying, isn't it? That sort of stuff.
Yeah. No, it was just quite the journey, and yeah, good to practice your walking as well. Actually, if you're doing a miler, because
that was one of the key things with Ricky, because we did do a lot of power hike only training. So we'd like have your sort of big, run your key ultra session, like workout, whatever you want to call it, on a Saturday, and then back it up with a couple of hours power hiking on a Sunday. And man, he was cranking out 10-minute Ks like along Silver Point, like hiking. We were in the group, walking him in, like and we're like, whoa, Ricky, slow down, man. You're like taking off from us. It's like hiking like fast, 10-minute Ks.
Yeah, like it's
poles as well. No poles.
I think if you're like walking 10-minute Ks and under, if you haven't walked that fast, it's actually quite hard work.
Yeah.
I just you can. It's like anything, like you get better at, you go for walks, you get better at it, and it becomes easier and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't go for walks, like purposeful walks and working, it's
just like running, isn't it? You improve your biomechanics.
That's right.
Walking, pretty amazing. I mean, I remember that for my miler, and I was like, I was just under 24 hours, and walking was a huge part of my run. Yeah, I walked all that. Anything like with a hill, I walked. That run walk transition becomes really important too, as well. You just get like
smooth.
Yeah, everything becomes smooth. So yeah, you do get good at walking.
Cool. And then I suppose
Green Lake.
Yeah, Green Lake.
Yeah, it was a bit of an issue with old Green Lake, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I feel sorry for the folks that got a bit caught out in Green Lake, and I mean that's the thing, isn't it? Like things, not everything goes to plan with race days, and it's a huge thing, like putting on an event, isn't it? Like logistics and organisation, and 4,000 to 5,000 runners at Tarawera, and a lot of logistics, and sometimes and contingent, obviously, different course, like different. The makeup of the courses were different, so that presented challenges at Green Lake aid station, and probably a couple of other aid station things, but particularly Green Lake, and ran out of water. And
well, I think unfortunately also that didn't help Green Lake is that people weren't a big fan of the old NAC
nutrition,
because
what is it, the electrolyte mix or whatever it is.
Because they had like a couple of like containers of that, and they had water, but no one was using that, so everyone was going to the water, so it kind of ended up with like,
they would have had their own mix of Tailwind or whatever.
Would have ended up with like, instead of like half at each, it's like all at the water, and then it was just, and then there was like two aid stations, but actually in one, so you had people going like both ways, and so there was people like coming back from the Mossy Loop and obviously wanting water again, so there was like a double up of like
it's a double up aid station,
and
it was in a junction too, wasn't it? Like the aid station itself also was in the junction,
that's right,
of where everyone was
going. And like, unfortunately, like, so if you hadn't been out in Mossy Loop and you wanted to get water, you had to kind of go round, sort of like, not like sort of like round, but like just onto the other table, and then people were getting water and then looking up and thinking, oh, where do I go?
Yes.
Because they were kind of like more on the side of like leaving like Mossy Loop, but they had to go to Mossy Loop first, so they had to sort of like backtrack. It's only like 100 meters, but if you're racing and you're like thinking about your race, you're not really thinking about where to go as such, because that should just be like automatic. That's why you don't, not navigating the race. So it was just like little funny little chaos, because then there was like these uncertain people kind of milling around, and and supposed to be like decisive, I'm going here. People
and even if you're marshalling there, you would sort of lose track of who's, if you're trying to help.
It would have got.
You're like, oh, where have you come from? There's a bit of thing like that.
I think.
I mean, even I saw, like, as I was coming through in early part of the whole day, it seemed like whoa, there's a lot going on there, I
suppose. And then there would have been more 100Ks and tailing 50Ks, I guess.
The big challenge came with I think the mid pack when the mid pack of the 100Ks came through with the tail enders of the 50Ks all at the same time, like coming that way, and then you had folks in front of them coming back the other way. That sort of, I don't know, top third of the 100K is coming back to go up. And it was just like,
queue up.
Shit sandwich, really, wasn't it?
Queue up for your water.
And then I think, so what compounded all of it is, I think they ran out of water, obviously. I think there was some issue with the water truck. I heard about a water truck that was parked at Blue Lake or something. Or, something like that. Or, there was some issue with the water. And whatever, there wasn't enough, not enough water,
and not enough ways of getting the water.
Not enough water, not enough ways of getting the water. Two aid stations rolled into one
with one
huge field.
They literally, I think they had one water container.
Yeah, because how many? Because there was about 1,500 in the 50K. Yeah, and 7. So you're talking 2,300 runners coming through that aid station twice.
Oh my god, that would have been so stressful.
Oh, feel it for the volunteers there, eh? Man, they did awesome. Like they're just doing their best. They're just humans doing their best, eh?
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah. So anyway. Look, like the thing is that they'll sort it out. And this is the thing. They know, like, Ironman, they know, they do events, this is what they do, they'll sort it out, and these are the things that can happen sometimes. Things go wrong, eh? And that's the thing, with races, isn't it? Things go wrong in racing, and can't make it too easy, that's one of my jokes I always say. Can't make it too easy, they're a bit challenging.
Gotta you gotta learn
adversity, and things happen.
Learn from things.
But running out of water is like probably on the low end of things that you
want to do,
or on the high end of things that you don't want to have happen. Like as an event or as a runner, because there's a safety issue too, actually, with it. And we had one of our group did DNF due to severe dehydration, actually. and she didn't get water at Green Lake.
It would have
So
been pretty hot in that day, because it would have been like
another one of our guys went the wrong way as well.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. He did the thing at Green Lake of like
going the wrong way.
It was really funny. It was really funny what he was saying. He's like, saw a volunteer, and they're like, "Oh, well done.
You're in second."
And
he's like, "No, I'm not." Shit. Run back, do the loop.
Yeah.
Run back, do the whatever it is, 6K loop.
Thankfully, the lady or whoever it was said, "You're in second." Otherwise, he may have kept going.
So he probably covered 110 Ks, I'd say, for his 100K.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess the long story short is you know, it's all learning. Like they'll sort it out. Well, maybe they'll move the station or separate the two stations, or yeah. And of course, you know, the 100K might not even be there on that part of the course next year as well, obviously. And so, problem solved.
Who knows? Just wait till next year to see.
Yeah.
And I suppose another big sort of time that was spent. Well, I spent more time there because you were at Rikitana with Ricky, but it was the finish line for like the 100Ks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like
that's a pretty cool time. So at the finish line in the sort of late evening, eh?
Yeah, I was kind of there from like 10 to 11:30, I guess, or something. PM. Time is irrelevant in Tum weekend. It's just, am I awake or am I asleep?
So you start getting all that sort of solid mid-pack coming through, eh?
Yeah, and I saw, one of my clients, Steph, who I've been training towards her first 100K, and it was super emotional. There was a laugh cry there. Super emotional watching her just race throughout the day. Saw her at Boys Beach, and she was like on fire. She was loving it.
Yeah.
And then it was a super emotional finish. I'm literally crying my eyes out. And she was kind of too. I think I was crying a bit more, but it was just very emotional watching her just absolutely smash her race. Literally 1 second under 16 hours.
Yes. Oh my God. Her time was 15:59 and 59 seconds.
Yeah. It was,
like what? It's just ridiculous. That is unbelievable. How did you do that? You know, that is unreal.
Did I?
Sub 60.
But no, it was good. It was very good. Very fulfilling. And yeah, it was good.
But yeah, well done everyone that ran it. Tarawera. A great weekend as usual. Looking forward to next year already.
As we're talking about it right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tarawera done for another year.
Another year.
Now we're down in Kapiti Coast, down at Coach Kim's place in Te Horo. We skipped town. We skipped Rotorua on Monday after the race, and what did we do?
We first of all stopped off at Taupo for a night, and then
because we were quite tired.
Yes, definitely. It's tiring whether you're racing, crewing, supporting. That weekend's a big weekend, so we had like this week of. Well, it was an interesting week, like it's quite a lot of work actually still after TUM, but we also thought we'd make it a bit harder by traveling as well, which, obviously has its pros and cons, unless you're a super chill kind of person, which I would say I'm not.
Yeah, traveling in the bus is like, it's not like traveling in your car.
No.
So when we travel places, it's just you just have to, everything's got to be like set up in its place, and then we put the car on the back, and then it's a good mission to get prepared.
Totally.
Get fuel and go to the dump stations and do our tanks and everything. Yeah, it's a mission, eh? Just to sometimes we only go 100 and 150 Ks down the road too.
Yeah, and then there's obviously at the other end just setting up, and then even though we went to places, we went to couple of places. We went to Palmerston North, which we hadn't been before, but there's a bit of just like reorientating yourself to the area and then trying to get on with like your day-to-day like sort of living, because we're not on holiday, right? When you're on holiday, there's no expectation of being anywhere at any time, and you can just mentally switch off. But at the same time, we're kind of like thinking about clients and work and all that kind of stuff, and trying to like set up
all
life.
our Tarawera.
Yeah, I had so many
crew,
calls.
checking in how everyone's going, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we and
I got a bit of a sore throat. Yeah, I've been like already still. It's like 2.5 weeks on from that weekend, and I've just had a bit of a funny throat and respiratory thing going on. Still been like all good, but just stuff like that.
Just the pressure of, I guess, you've got Faultline 100K coming up, I suppose, as well. So there's fun. Going to do some training for that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we then stopped in Ratahi, which is a little town, sort of just not that far from Awakuni. And we parked up there for 3 or 4 nights. I remember. It's sort of set up life there. Caught up with Ellie, who lives in that area as well, which we don't get to do often due to the fact that she lives in that area. We don't go to that area often. So that was nice to catch up with her and her husband.
Yeah, it's a cool thing about getting on the road, like, bus life and stuff and then we try and make a point of getting around and seeing our crew that we coach in that, and obviously getting to events and supporting the events and that too. But it's really cool, isn't it, to get to catch up with people?
Yeah, definitely is. And talking of that, we were on our way to our final destination for the couple of months, which is in Te Horo, Kapiti Coast, and we were like, oh, should we go to Palmerston North? And we did.
That was awesome, eh?
It was.
Love Palmy. I've never been there before.
Well, yeah, I haven't been there either as an adult, many years. Cool space for running.
Yeah, along the river. It's amazing. Yeah, and trails too. You went on that trail. The Manatū Gorge.
Highly, highly recommend doing that trail. Actually.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of elevation, about 1,400 to 1,500 meters, sort of in the out and back, which is about 23 k's. So it's it's like a type of run that's good for hiking, or like if you could go there. The hills are sort of steep but sort of runnable, so you could go there and like thrash yourself if you wanted to, and do it in a really decent time, or you can take your time and enjoy the native bush that just goes for like 11 k's.
Nice.
I really enjoyed that run. Yeah,
I did some runs along the river because I was just pretty tired after racing the 50k at Tarawera, and it was just cruisy runs along the river. And then we went to the Manawatu Striders, which is the main running club in Palmy. Yeah, they're awesome. Like, they organise, they have the Striders Marathon, which they do later in the year.
May, I think.
Yeah, May or June or something, eh? So that's sort of coming up. And, summertime they have the Super Sevens that they organise. And that's like, just 7 weeks over those summer weeks. And, man, huge turnouts. They were saying, one of our friends was saying 1,000 people, like, showing up. This is like on a Tuesday night. 1,000 people showing up, and it's awesome. It's like 3K, 3, 5, and 7K, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, we kind of like cover, adding in the 3K, anyone that has a desire to be active can kind of do 3K. It kind of gets the kids involved, and therefore it gets the mums and dads involved. And
that's what I saw there.
Yeah.
A lot of
walk
families and that. Yeah.
You can walk 3Ks in a decent amount of time without it being a long time as well. So
we've got quite a few CMF crew, clients we coach in Palmy, and so catching up with them was awesome as well. Yeah, massive, just an awesome running community actually in Palmy. I was blown away by it. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's just like a nice sort of environment to be in as well. Like the place, it was kind of like chill or something. It was just, just pleasant.
I enjoyed the library actually because I quite enjoy.
Yeah, this is Chris's thing. I need to get more into this, I think.
I get around to libraries, obviously to have a quiet space to do a bit of work, concentrating. More often than not, it's like working on like training plans and stuff like that. It's like a productive space in the community. But yeah, Palmerston North Library, one of the best in the country. The best I've been to so far.
Yeah.
It's like an amazing old building. It's like a historic building that's been converted in the late 90s to the library, or mid to late 90s.
Well, there we go.
The guy even gave me a tour. It was epic.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was so cool.
You get into what's the libraries, and I get into what's cool missions we can go on. Come on, Chris. Get excited. Don't worry about work. Let's go on this run. And,
let's go.
Let's go.
So, there's a few nights in Palmy, 3 or 4 nights, 4 nights. Yeah, and then now we're here in Kapiti Coast, Te Horo. Yeah. And so,
just a quick drive on this road. What was it? State Highway 59 or something.
Yeah, the road out of Palmerston North. Yeah, it's like straight bits, but the road conditions were crazy. Well.
Yeah, they were like potholes. Chris can bounce a bit in his chair, and I remember it's like you can kind of see a pothole coming up, obviously, and you're like, oh god, what's going to happen here? And like Chris,
the big dips in the road.
Yeah, Chris goes bouncing. It's just experiencing like new roads, and then like with the added thing of obviously being slightly higher up, you kind of see it like it's like a bigger view than if you're in a car. Yeah.
So this is where we are now for probably until mid-May at least, I'd say.
Cool. Yeah.
Pretty awesome, eh? Yeah. And we're here for Faultline season and getting out on the course. And we've got group runs coming up. And all that fun stuff.
Exploring meeting some new people.
Yeah.
I went on a group run yesterday morning at 5:30 a.m. with
that's an early one, for a community group run.
There's quite a few people there.
It's a popular run, isn't it?
It is.
Why can I?
Yes, it is. And Single Trail Collective is what it's called. But they stop at a bakery after they start and stop at a bakery. So there's like really good coffee and
that's why it's a popular run.
Probably, yeah.
It's the coffee afterwards.
Yeah. And then so I went on that. That was awesome. I think I'm going to go again next week.
And we went to Park Run.
Yeah, that was also good.
Why can I Park Run last Saturday? That was good. Well attended.
Yes. And then we've started this informal Te Horo Friday run club that's out basically where we live, so in Te Horo. And we're going to do it again. This is a Friday now. And we're going to do it again. So if you're in the area and you want to come along, you actually can come along.
It's like a tempo hill run.
Yeah. About 75 to 90 minutes. So that's what we got going on.
Get you primed up for the weekend missions.
Yeah. Which we're going to do tomorrow. Big mission tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be 7 or 8 hours tomorrow, yeah.
For Faultline training. So that's sort of like 100k and 100 miler. So, and for people like me that are just like running.
Yeah. So me and Kim are going to be, like I mentioned, are going to record a podcast of the first run that we kind of did and talk a bit about the course so far, and there'll be more course videos coming up as we go along. We'll save that to the next podcast, and that's about it for today, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want help with your running, just get in touch with us. We do free coach calls. Let's just jump on a call, see if it's a fit for you. If you want to join our Run Club membership, you can do that as well. We'll put the links. It's our annual membership. I'll put the links for both of those below. If you want to find Charlotte, how do we find you?
How do you find me? Well, you can find me on Instagram, Trail Girl Charlotte. You can also find me on Strava if you like. My name is Charlotte Milne. or even Facebook, same name. That's where you'll find me.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
Same for me. NZ Nomad Runner on Instagram, Chris Lucas on Strava and Facebook. And you can jump on our site, cmfrunning.nz.
Yeah, and if you'd like to follow us as CMF Running, there's a site. Well, you can't, that's our site. But also on YouTube, and on the old socials as well, Instagram and Facebook, CMF Running.
We've actually got some good stuff coming up with sort of what we're doing with the YouTube and the podcast, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because currently we have CMF Running, YouTube and podcast, but we're actually going to split that up. We're going to split it up. And Charlotte's going to start doing her own sort of content, Trail Wheel Charlotte.
Yeah.
On YouTube and the podcast, and then me the same.
Yeah.
So it'll be NZ Nomad Runner channel, which I already have.
So I'll be like more about workouts and
lady stuff
maybe, and just strength and whatever is to come that will be discovered along the way.
Yes. All part of the fun.
Yes.
Rightio, my friends. Catch you on the next one.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.